G'day guys, how you going? Just doing another video. I've already done the Holy Paladin. We're going to go through the Resto Druid now of just the changes that will be coming through so far that we know about into Shadowlands. Now, of course, the beta is open now, but there's only a select few people that did get into it. I unfortunately did not, but that's not going to stop us going through this, and then we'll give you as much information as we can, bit of context, move on from there. Alrighty, so the baseline abilities, so Ferocious Bite, Barkscone, Cyclone, Stampeding Roar, and Iron Fur, they all become baseline, so that all the specs will now be able to use them. So coming back, we've got Heart of the Wild, which is a talent, and it was back in the game, maybe 2 or 3 expansions ago, this spell. So it provides an option for druids who want to use an off-roll. So it's essentially like a stronger version, I guess you could say, of the affinities that they already have in the 5 talent tree. Barkskin, they've put there, all they've done essentially for this is they've reduced the duration by 4 seconds. And then they've added the rank 2, which is increasing it by 4. So it's just another thing that Blizzard likes to do, trying to make it seem like there's more content for them to, that they give you throughout your leveling experience. Ferocious Bite being given to all specs without the affinity is really good. Same with, Iron Fur, that has been given to all specs, so a bit more defensive capability, I guess. For maybe soaking things or something for Resto when you have to go bare form, pop the Iron Fur, and then that just makes it a little bit stronger, I guess. Now with Moonfire, it's the same thing as Barkskin by the looks of it. The rank 2 is just increasing the duration by 4 seconds, just a little bit more damage coming through with the extra ticks. Rebirth is basically seeing the exact same thing, so you go 60% health and a 20% mana, and then once you get the rank 2, it's 100% health. So not entirely that much. Now, by the looks of it here with Regrowth, they've actually reduced the amount of mana that it costs by about 3%. Not a huge change, but Regrowth is the heavy hitting spell for Resto Druids, and it can be really valuable at some stages, sort of like a flash of light situation. However, the large mana cost does, detract from its usefulness in the long run, as you will end up with absolutely no mana at all. Alrighty, so something that Druids are getting back is the Stampeding Roar, which is to all specializations. Now, this is really good in terms of group utility and just for yourself, just that speed boost. It's really invaluable, especially too in Mythic Plus and things like that. And I think that's really valuable, and it provides a lot more utility to the Resto Druid itself. Alrighty, so moving down onto the Resto Druid specific changes. So they've said here that Swiftman's changing to basically its original sort of iteration, and I think that could actually be quite good. I mean, like, let's give Resto Druids more HOTS. I think the hard flat heals is kind of not really their speed, or had been. I feel like that's the way they developed, and then they've gone the other way, and then this is too with a substantially reduced cooldown and cost, which is good because Swiftman did have quite a large cooldown, and it was kind of I think it was once every 30 seconds you could use it. Now they've added in that Nature's Swiftness will allow Regrowth, Rebirth, or Entangling Roots to be cast instantly. I think it's just a good change in order to give them a bit more choice about what they're doing. Now they've got new Nourish, which is a talent that they're adding in. Nourish receives triple the boon from Mastery, Harmony, which increases the healing for each active restoration healing spell over time. Now I believe that Nourish was a spell that was in the game very long time ago, and they actually got rid of it. And I think it was just a flat heal, but it was very it wasn't very impactful at all. Alrighty, so now into the Resto Druid ability changes for Shadowlands. Now this is where we'll see a lot of the tweaking that Blizzard has done in terms of how they want them to perform. So right off the bat with Efflorescence, right away you can see that there's 4.6% increase mana use, and maybe that's for the reason they're choosing to do that, is to make your choices more impactful with your Efflorescence. Obviously it's just a big heavy hitting spell that you just plop on the ground, and anyone standing in it gets healed, but the increase of mana maybe will make it seem a bit more impactful, and then having to change the positioning of your Efflorescence every now and again won't be viable because the mana cost will be too much. Innovate, I think that's essentially as it always has been. However, they've changed, well, the rank 2, so you gain 50% of its effectiveness if you cast it on somebody else rather than yourself. So that's, I guess that's just promoting, you know, giving the spell to someone else rather than just taking it for you. Now, by the looks of it, Ironbark. So Ironbark's a really good external cooldown that Resto Druids have in their kit, reducing damage taken by 20% for 12 seconds. Now, by the looks of it, what they've done is they've actually reduced the cooldown from 1.5 minutes to 1 minute. So that's just, again, a great tool that Resto Druids have to pop on their tank, and it's just a flat 20% damage reduction, which is really strong. And then you can see the rank 2 of us. So then, as you can see, there's Stonebark rank 2, which Ironbark increases the healing from your heal over time effects by 20%. So once again, this is just a massive damage reduction, increase in healing, and it's now only 1 minute. So Resto Druids are going to get a lot of these out, especially in Mythic Plus. Also in Raiding too, I think it'll be quite impactful for the tanks in terms of high damage or damage spikes. It'll be really good for that. Now, once again, here we're seeing with the Druid spell, so Life Bloom, essentially all the same. However, if you look down below, so it's gone from the 8% cost of mana to 11.2, so 3.2 increase. And once again, I think it's just kind of maybe making these spells feel a bit more impactful in terms of your choices, and you can't switch your Life Bloom around or how you interact with that. Increasing, I guess, the Druids will want for paying attention to your mana, and you know the potential consequences that can follow that if you don't pay attention to your mana. You'll be out of mana very quickly by the looks of it now. So we got the new Nature Swiftness. Your next regrowth, rebirth, entangling roots is instant and free in all forms, and heals for an additional 100%. So that's a fantastic quick 1 minute cooldown. So with the Stonebark Nature Swiftness, these sort of cooldowns, it's looking like, you know, you're going to be able to use them quite a lot and quite regularly, so you'll be able to make a lot of good choices with those as well. With this new Regrowth rank 2, Regrowth's initial heal has a 40% increased chance for critical effect if the target is already affected by Regrowth. Now, what we saw before was the increase of mana spent for a Regrowth, and that's where we come into the fact of, you know, they're giving you incentive to, if you need to, spam this spell, as it will do a lot more healing. However, the consequences could be quite great with the increased mana requirement. But unlike the other spells, Rejuvenation below that, so that's actually had its mana cost changed to 10.5, so it's only a 0.5 drop. However, I guess with all these increases from other spells, you've got to take what you can get. So we've got the spell Swift Mend here, so it consumes a regrowth, wild growth, or rejuvenation effect to instantly heal an ally for 240% of spell power. So as you can see there, it has 8% cost of mana, and the 15-second recharge. What they've actually done now is the cooldown's changed to 25 seconds, so it's an extra 10, and 6% increased mana. So it's not going to be up as much for the Resto Druids in order to save someone if they really need to, or they lack on the healing there. It was always kind of used as an oh shit button to quickly get them up and top them up. Now below this, we'll have also got Wild Growth. So Wild Growth is the AoE hot that you can put on them that heals 5 people. As we can see, so it's gone from 22% base mana and now to 28. So once again, like, it was already a hefty spell to use in terms of how much mana it costs. But as we can see, it's gone further in the other way. In turn with that though, they have increased the healing, or the effects of healing from spell power by 6.3%. So not a huge amount, but also with the rank 2 now, Wild Growth heals an additional 1 target. So that's an extra person being healed. So that actually might make up for the fact that it's costing so much more mana, but we'll have to wait and see once we get into that. Alrighty, so just into the talent changes, and there really wasn't many for the Resto Druids. So we've had Nourish come back, but as a talent, so heals a friendly target for 135% of spell power, but receives triple bonus from Mastery of Harmony. Now looking at Nourish has actually replaced Prosperity in the tier 1 talent tree. So Prosperity was Swiftman now has 2 charges, and its cooldown was reduced by 3 seconds. So Prosperity was actually a pretty popular talent. Allowing to have 2 Swiftmens was really powerful. And now with not only this talent being removed, but then having the Swiftmen cooldown increased by 10 seconds, it's going to make a huge difference to the way in which druids sort of can heal if they fall behind, and it kind of reinforces, I think, this playstyle that Blizzard is ushering everyone towards of, just the regrowth spam. They're giving you more crit chance or crit healing. However, the mana cost is much greater, so I think it's more to the point of no longer. This could be entirely wrong, but maybe they're trying to ruin, the kitty weaving sort of stuff in Mythic Plus by removing the ability to spend a large amount of time in cat form doing DPS, and then coming out, popping a Swiftman, putting another couple of hots on, and then just go back into kitty form. Maybe they're trying to use this to stop the high amount of damage coming from druids, and essentially dominating the healing role in Mythic Plus for a lot of high keys for quite some time throughout this expansion. I know that now there are other healers coming through like Mistweaver Monks and Holy Paladins, but it was very much dominated by Resto Druids, and it's actually a fact that why I played a Resto Druid through half of the expansion was because I wanted to do higher keys, and that was the only way that you could do it, by being a Resto Druid. Alrighty, so with the talent changes, so Heart of the Wild, so basically the abilities that are associated with your affinity are substantially empowered for 45 seconds. So wherever you chose, the Feral, Guardian, or Balance Affinity, those spells that in that toolkit are going to be really strong for that time being. So if we look at the Feral, increase the damage of your abilities by 30% and the critical strikes with your attacks generate an instant combo. So it's almost like you are a Feral Druid for that 45 seconds. Balance Affinity, damage by your balance abilities increased by 30%, and Star Surge is instant. So once again, it's like you're becoming a Balance Druid for that 45-second period. And then with the Guardian Affinity, so Bear Form gives you an additional 20% stamina. Multiple uses of Iron Fur may overlap, and Frenzied Regeneration has 2 charges. Now, if I may be right in saying that the Feral sort of Druid is, the kitty weaving for Resto Druids is going to be phased out a bit. It could potentially be that Heart of the Wild and the Guardian Affinity comes in because it's just such good damage mitigation in extremely high keys. However, if you look at the extremely high keys as well, they're also looking for the healer to do quite a whack of damage as well, unless the meta completely changes. But on that note, guys, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe for more content. I'll be doing a lot more healing orientated videos in the future, especially coming to Shadowlands. Remember to follow me on twitch.tv/AuraParty. I stream there as much as I can, hoping to set up a regular schedule there to be streaming just about every day of the week. That'll be coming through soon. But thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the video and have a lovely day.